Hey everybody, this is Craig Cottle, the Director of Nature Reliance School, and we're taking a look at our next topic in the series of Fitness for Survival. So glad you joined us. This one we're going to be talking to Dr. Brian Jones again on muscular endurance. The inside of each of these
waiting on word from city or state officials to see what's going on, what they can tell us.
Thanks again, Brian, for being here. Really appreciate it. And again, I got my notes, guys and gals, so that I can make sure I get some of the questions you all been asking me to ask somebody that knows what they're talking about. That's what I've got here. So this first one is basically tell us what your thoughts are on the principles, the basic principles of muscular training.
Okay. So
kind of a broad category, I know. But
yeah, it is. Muscular training, anything you do physically is going to train your muscles. Okay, so if you are sedentary and you suddenly decide to start a walking program, your legs are going to get stronger. Okay, if you've never done any kind of gardening or just any kind of activity that, even if it's considered aerobic or some sort of like a jogging type fitness activity, that's going to build strength to a certain point. Now after that, you're going to need to put a little more stress on the individual muscles in order to get them both have more endurance. So if you need, like, let's say push-ups, and you can do 25 push-ups before you fail, that's a muscular endurance exercise. Strength, on the other hand, would be more like a bench press exercise where you're lifting 8 reps or less, something like that.
So for survival preparedness, basically, a tornado hits and you need to have the strength available to you. What kind of exercises should people be doing now to basically stay fit and then be ready for that eventuality as well?
A lot of it depends on where you're at when you start. So people come from a lot of different fitness backgrounds, and in coaching, either jiu-jitsu, and I was a personal trainer for many years, and also just consulting with people who are asking me these questions. The first thing I ask is, where are you? Because you got to know what your beginning point is. So if you're completely sedentary, I just tell people to get moving. Okay, you may give them a few exercises, but the main thing is to get them active. Okay, doing anything, not necessarily going to the weight room, but just getting moving, maybe body weight exercises. Right. So after if we can get them moving, and then we get them on a body weight exercise. Okay, so let's assume this person is relatively sedentary but not overly obese. Okay, and they can do some push-ups. Okay, and they can squat. Okay, without any additional weight. I would have them get into a routine of body weight activities, doing things like planks and squats and push-ups. And there's a lot of people, most people can't do a pull-up, especially if they're sedentary, but you can do versions of a pull-up, like a negative pull-up or something where you jump up, hold yourself, and then lower yourself under resistance. Okay. So you can do things like that, or there's different variations. So there's a lot of different variations of body weight things. I have, in my head, kind of a rough estimation of when people need to move into weights if they're going to try to build strength. If you can do 20 consecutive push-ups, if you can do 50 consecutive body weight squats, if you can do 50 sit-ups, things like that. I mean, there's some just general types of activities where you would want to start maybe adding some additional load.
Okay. So from your perspective, is it something where somebody has to get a gym membership to get these sort of things done once they're past the body weight, once they meet those goals that you just mentioned? What do they do from there? Absolutely not.
Anything, the thing that constitutes resistance training is resistance, and anything that's heavy is resistance. That can be your body weight. In the case of body weight exercises, you can do things to make those body weight exercises harder. For instance, you can take your push-up and elevate your feet, and now it's harder, so there's more resistance on your arms. You can wear a backpack, the rucking. You can add some resistance to the load as you're walking. We talked about that in a previous segment about rucking with a load. You can fill up a sandbag. I wrote a book available through Iron Mind on sandbag training, and it essentially, you can do a lot of different functional motions with this sandbag You don't have to buy an expensive tool. It's just you need something heavy. So a heavy bag that's not attached to the ceiling is a weight.
I'll put a link for that book that he just mentioned in the description below.
There's kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells, anything. You can usually pick up weight equipment. I'd say there's nothing that sells more used on Craigslist.
Yeah.
People will pay you to come get it.
Yeah.
For the most part. So if you need a piece of equipment, it's probably not that hard to get.
Yeah. Okay. Next question then is, how often should somebody do muscular training? They're trying to build their muscular system up, the frequency of it.
I would tell the new person to maybe limit it to twice a week for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because people have a tendency to, I see this pattern in the gym, and I had this pattern when I was personal training, is people have a tendency to go full bore, gung-ho. I mean, there are either two types of personalities. There's the ones that won't do anything, that need prodding at every step of the way, and there's the people that go full bore and they just burn out. They either get injured. So if you can limit yourself to 2 times per week for, maybe 3 times a week if you're have a pretty good lifestyle and you eat right and everything, 2 to 3 times a week for 30 minutes to an hour. I mean, that includes warm up and everything, and basically keep it at that for, you can do that forever, actually.
So is there an over-training for muscular buildup? I mean, can we do weight-bearing exercises where we're lifting weights too much? Should we avoid that 7 days a week?
Yes, obviously. You want to try to there's no hard and fast rules. Again, overtraining is a very individual thing. It has to do with your recovery capacity. But in general, you want to try to put a day between your weight training, at least a day. And when you first start, you're going to get extremely sore, especially some of these lower body exercises like squats. That soreness will tend to fade over time.
What is that soreness? What's going on there?
Well, when you exercise, as I said in a previous video that we did, exercise is a stress on the body. Exercise is stress, and you get stronger in between exercise sessions and not during the exercise session. So anytime you're forced...
What do you mean, this swole thing? I'm not actually stronger when I do that?
Yeah, that's probably when the people are the weakest.
Okay.
So
thank you for saying that.
If somebody's flexing, that's the time to get them right then, because they got nothing left.
All right.
Just enough to flex.
All right.
So, but you definitely want to put some time between there, and once you get through that initial bout of soreness, you got to stick it out. There's not a whole lot you can do. Actually, there's really nothing that you can do that's been shown to be effective. So you just have to keep doing it and listen to your body.
So from an emergency preparedness perspective, anything jump out at you, or you can consider for the person that is, bam, they're going out the back door and they're trying to save themselves and their family? Muscular strength, what should they be doing?
Well, ask yourself the following questions. Can you carry the things that you want to carry? Okay, can you carry your gear? And can you carry it for a certain period of distance, right? As a man or a woman, could you fight off somebody? Do you have the muscular strength to maybe not beat them up, but at least fight back enough to get away, because that's resistance and anaerobic endurance? Would you have the ability to carry or drag a loved one if they were injured and couldn't move themselves in the situation, like maybe out of the line of fire, out of a burning house? Could you get them out of the car if they were in a wreck? All these things these tasks that you may be called upon to complete, you should have the physical reserves to do those tasks. Otherwise, you are not functionally fit from a preparedness standpoint. You're ill-prepared.
Fantastic. Well, I think that covers it for muscular endurance. Anything you want to throw in there? Anything I didn't ask you about that's important?
I think we touched on everything. If there are any other questions, then you can send them in.
Yeah, it brings a good point up. I'll make sure that I have Dr. Jones' contact information below so that you can get in contact with him. Check out his academy here in Frankfort, Kentucky, Valhalla Academy, and we'll have all that information available for you as well. So the next lesson, we're going to talk about flexibility. Thanks again.